Hello everybody, welcome back to another Pokemon Emerald playthrough. Sorry about last week, I was very busy and I could not make it. Anyway, today's Pokemon is a blast from the past. We are using Pinsir, one of the many bugs from Generation 1. Maybe it's just me, but I remember Pinsir being kinda bad in Red and Blue, or at the very least it was outclassed in pretty much every way by Scyther. Let's see how it does in a newer generation. The rules for today are: I can only use my starter in combat, I can't use items from my bag in battle, I can't raise my evasion in any way, and I can't use cheats or glitches. Pinsir base stats are not that bad. Sure, he has awful special attack, but that's fair considering the 125 base physical attack. Also, every other stat is pretty good, at least for my standards. Vice Grip is not a particularly powerful move, but thanks to our massive attack stat, we can make quick work of all of the early trainers. What I am actually worried about is the first gym battle. Roxanne uses rock types who are both super effective on me and are resistant to my normal moves. I thought I would have to level up a lot, but then Pinsir learned Seismic Toss. This move does fixed damage equal to your level. It's not great for a non-tank Pokemon, but it's not resisted, so it's my only chance. I attempted her at level 16 and lost, but I noticed that the Geodudes were almost a two-shot, so I leveled up just one more and came back. As expected, the Geodudes are defeated in 2 hits, but her ace is a bigger problem. Fortunately, her AI is not the best, so even though it could have spammed rock moves, it wasted time boosting her defense, which does absolutely nothing, and eventually I'm able to earn the first badge. With Roxanne defeated, we have only the optional fight against May before leaving town. She was somewhat easy. Of course, I used Vice Grip against her Pokémons since it's much stronger, but her starter survived and somehow managed to chunk off half of my HP with a single Ember. Next up is Brawly. I was a bit overconfident for him because Bug resists fighting. Unfortunately, Makuhita surprises me with a reversal at 1 HP, so that's death. The second attempt goes better. I can do a lot of damage to his Pokémons even with the normal moves, but if they start setting up, things could go badly again. Instead, I crit Makuhita, so that's that. Kinda anticlimactic, but we move on. In Slateport, we have to defeat a few Team Aqua Grunts. Their Pokémons are quite weak, so it does not take many hits for Pinsir to crush them between his claws. I do take a little bit of damage from Rough Skin, but on its own it's nothing to worry about. One major mistake I did in this run is not teaching Bulk Up to Pinsir. It's a good move that increases both your attack and defense, but not many Pokémon can learn it, so I forgot about it. I was a bit worried about May on the bridge, but not so much. I know her starter evolved and all, but only has Ember, and with my good attack I know she will be able to use it only once or twice. A burn from it could be a disaster, but it's only a 10% chance, and in the end she did not even use it. Watson could be a big problem today too, but once again the moveset comes and saves me. Somehow Pinsir learns a brick break on its own, and it's just in time to be used against Magneton. Defeating the Steel type with only normal moves would have been tough, but this way it's a breeze and we are done in no time. After getting the third badge, we can use Rock Smash to explore the nooks and crannies of the region, and we find both of the evil teams arguing in Meteor Fall. This tells us to go up the local volcano, where we find Maxi about to make a mess. To stop him, we challenge him to a duel, and here we can see our ability coming in clutch for the first time. Hyper Cutter makes it so the enemy Pokémons can't lower our attack in any way. This is super useful in this game in particular, given the large amount of major fights with Intimidate users. This allows me to go for a fully physical moveset even with no boosting moves, but that's not something important to this run. Because I finally remembered about the Brawly TM and used a few bulk ups against Flannery. Her starter Pokémon is arguably the less dangerous, and I boosted against it until I was low-ish health. From here I just swept her with a Brick Break. Thanks to the boost, even the turtle is a one-shot. And I'm glad that's the case, because I would for sure not have lived an overhit. Probably not even at full HP. With half of the badges, we have to backtrack a little bit until we reach our dad's gym. He only uses normal types, and we have a fighting move, so I think you can guess how this one went. Most of his Pokémons are a one-shot, even with no boosts. The only thing you have to be careful about is slacking. Given his large HP pool, I think he can survive a hit and blast me away with counter. So I wasted the first turn and attacked as he is loafing around for an easy KO. Now we are given the Surf HM, and as it should be, Pinsir can't learn it, but we can use it out of combat to reach new areas. Our first stop is in the Weather Institute. Here we find one of the two Team Aqua admins who has kidnapped some researchers. We are a good Samaritan, so we took her on in a fight and easily defeated her. Next is May, who at this point is no longer a problem. Her starter still has Ember, but it's even weaker here considering the rain in the area. Her team at this point is more annoying than hard, with Pelipper protecting and Lombre faking me out. Eventually we can defeat her and proceed to Fortree. In this town we have to challenge the flying type gym headed by Winona. This might seem hard at first considering the type matchup, but unfortunately for her, flying is physical and I can increase my defense with the bulk up as well as my attack. So yeah, after a few boosts, not against Swablu since it has a Perish Song, I was able to sweep the rest of her team for another easy badge. Well, I say that, but Pelipper has other plans by spamming Protect over and over. Eventually he can't use the move anymore, so that's when it finally goes down. Having Fly out of combat is not mandatory, but very convenient. Before having to use it though, I stopped by the mall to have one last match against our rival May. There is not much to say about this one. I guess I can take the opportunity to mention that Pinsir learned Swords Dance on its own, so I replaced Bulk Up. Maybe it's just me, but I was very surprised by Pinsir's move pool. I remember it was atrocious in Gen 1. Either I am misremembering or they improved it substantially. After taking care of May, I climbed the Pokemon Tower of Gen 3 and grabbed the Magma emblem. This key item lets us enter the Team Magma base, and here, after a whole bunch of grunts, we find Maxie waking up the legendary Pokemon Groudon. After Groudon leaves, Maxie attacks us in frustration, and we take the opportunity to teach him a lesson. Without intimidate, his theme is nothing worthy writing home about. Once we took care of that, we can infiltrate the Team Aqua base. Once again, we arrive just a smidge too late and are stopped by the admin as Archie takes a submarine and leaves. The Admiral is nothing like his One Piece counterpart and is defeated in just a couple of attacks. But now for the true test of strength. It has been a while since I had to do Tate and Liza without a super effective move, and I was a bit worried about them. I took the first turn to set up a Swords Dance, so I would have enough attack to one-shot any of their Pokemons. I allowed Solrock to use Sunny Day because I knew I would take it out the next turn, and with no hypnosis from the moon, I can defeat their last Pokemons with no issues at all. And then, as it's usual after getting the badge in this island, we have to go do the double fight with Steven against the Team Magma. Here I have to sadly say I got KO'd, mostly by myself, as I got hit in confusion 3 times in a row for about 98% of my HP. Needless to say, in the next attempt I was laser focused on sending the Mightyenas to the afterlife. With no threat of Swagger in place, this fight is a lot less dangerous. Also, as soon as one of the two guys runs out of Pokemons, it effectively becomes free, as I can take out the opposing Pokemon before they are able to move. Funny how I taught Dig to Pinsir and never ever used it in the entire game. Oh well, soon enough we are going to get the last move for our final moveset and overwrite it. With one final attack, we are finally able to take out the last member of their teams and be done with this stuff. For our troubles, we are gifted the Dive Gem that we have to immediately use to get to the bottom of the sea, where instead of finding a mermaid, we find a burly man in spandex about to wake up an ancient god. Yep, checks out. Archie is nowhere near as troublesome as the last fight, and in a few hits we get through his team. Even though we defeated him, Kyogre awakens anyway, and so from here we have to go ask the third legendary for help and all of that stuff. As I do that, could you do me a favor and like, subscribe, press the bell button and maybe leave a comment? That would be greatly appreciated both by me and the YouTube algorithm. After Rayquaza saves the day, we can attempt the last gym. Here I made an oopsie and used Swords Dance against Latvizic. I forgot it has a Sweet Kiss, so I ended up being confused. I was worried I would take myself out again, but fortunately this time it did not happen, as I snapped out of it pretty quickly. With a +2 in attack, I can sweep his team with mostly return. Even the usually annoying Kindra can't stand up to me and is defeated in no time. Since we have now acquired all of the badges in the region and can use all of the HMs, we can at last enter the last stretch of the game. In Victory Road, we meet Wally, who is looking for one last fight. Since we last fought him 2 hours ago, when he only had Heralds, his team improved drastically, boosting a wide variety of types and Pokémons. Unfortunately for him, all of that does not matter against a +2 Pinsir, with good enough coverage to be neutral against everything you can throw at it. Yeah, his team never stood a chance. With our semi-rival taken care of, we can complete the cave and emerge at the league. Here our first match is against Sidney, who is generally a very annoying trainer to fight, but today, thanks to our ability, we can cut through all of that BS, and by spamming Brick Break, we crack his team in two. All of his dark types can't leave a hit, even without boosts. So yeah, that was one of the easiest Sidneys ever. Next is Pheobe, and she is a bit harder, considering that most of my moveset does nothing to her Pokémons. I boosted as her lead used Protect, and then thankfully a boosted Earthquake is just enough to defeat her Dusclops, so I don't have to worry about Curse. But now I have a different problem, because I am kinda low on Earthquakes, since I did not PP boost it, and if I run out, I am screwed. Fortunately, by one-shotting all of her remaining Pokémons, I have just enough PPs. Next up is Glacia, and she is very easy too. Much like Sidney, all of her team is weak to fighting, because it is part ice, so once again, even without boosting, I can wreak havoc on her. The only thing I thought might leave a hit is Walrein, since it has a lot of base SP, but even if that was the case, unless she got a super lucky freeze, the fight was mine. The last of the Elite Four is Drake, and I have a bit of a weird plan for it. I wanted to boost against Sheldon and remove the speed debuff of Rock Tomb with the White Herb. Instead, he used Protect and then missed, so that was a waste of my brain power. Anyway, at +4 attack and with no way for him to lower it, I was pretty confident that return would be enough to one-shot everything, and my calculations were unsurprisingly correct. Even Salamence, who is quite a beefy Pokémon, barely had the time to see the artificial lighting of the room before being sent back into the Pokéball. Last but not least, we have the champion fight. His team is quite powerful, but I adopted my usual strategy. Bring Wailord low, so that Water Spout does not hurt much, and set up. In the end, I was able to raise my attack 2 times, which should be enough. From here I just kept clicking return, as it is my best option, because it's a neutral against everything. As you might expect, having around 700 attack is more than enough to guarantee a one-shot on pretty much anything that is not resistant, and so with that I was able to finish off the champions team and have Pinsir be crowned champion of the Hoenn League. This run was surprisingly easy and fast, and I also had fun. Pinsir surprised me in a very good way, and I have to say my opinion of this nutcracker improved quite a bit. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe and all of that YouTube stuff. See you next week with another Pokemon video. Bye!